Come and See the Invisible Stuff. That's the name of the channel, spelled just like that. If you like a video, and subscribe. What I want to talk about how music throw rocks and hide his hand. When I say throw rocks and hide his hand, I'm saying that sometimes music is responsible for certain things taking place, but it's not getting none of the blame for it. And in this instance, I'm talking about the negative and destructive music that's out there, right? And the reason why music can throw rocks and hide his hand is because it's looked at as just entertainment. You may hear somebody say that, oh, it's just entertainment. But on the flip side of that, I think even if someone, feels that way, we all can agree that music has the power of influence. Music can make things cool, acceptable. Music can make you feel a certain way, put you in a certain mood. See, that's why music is not just entertainment. If it have the power to do those things, it's more than just entertainment. The very fact that somebody would pay somebody who make music to endorse their product because of the influence they have, because of the music that they make, lets us know that this is more than just entertainment. And now the thing is, it became normal. It's normalized, and now it's a norm. It's a part of the everyday social climate in the society that we live in. Some negative and destructive music. And I'm not just talking about rap music. I'm talking about, first of all, every rap song is not a negative, destructive song. I'm talking about any genre of music, because you can have parts of a genre that have negative and destructive music, and you can have parts of a genre that's not negative and destructive. So I'm talking about any negative or destructive music in general. It became accepted as normal. Once it get normalized, it get overlooked, it get looked at as just another thing, and that's how it can throw rocks and hide his hand and don't get the blame for it being responsible for certain things that it can be responsible for. And I'm not saying that music just by itself is responsible for some of these things. I'm saying that it's a component, it's an element, but it don't get its blame like other things would. If you watching the 6 o'clock news, you'll see some gunfire, you'll hear about a drug deal going bad or whatever, and you can point out, oh, okay, yeah, this happened, that happened. But a lot of times, music can play a part of that. Music can shape that mind, the influence that I talked about earlier, to put you in a certain mood, make certain things cool and acceptable. See, music get overlooked, and that's just one instance that I'm saying. That's the example of how I can throw rocks and hide his hand. It's just it's the social norm now. It's just accepted that it's the social norm. It's just accepted as just another thing. And then here's a big thing that I think a lot of people believe about music, even the negative and destructive music. I think a lot of people believe just because they're not literally going out doing the very things that the music is saying, that means that they're not being impacted by the music. But I would have to disagree with that. Okay, you would have the person who will go out and do what the music say. But after that, you will have a person who wouldn't go out and do what the music say, but they would co-sign that person doing it. They would give them a dap for doing something that they did. They would celebrate and glorify what that person done. And even if you're not one of them, if you agree with or co-sign the music in general, whether you play it yourself, whether you play it at your house around your kids, play it at a party, graduation party, family reunion, okay with it being played at schools. If you are doing that, whichever one of those three you are, or if you are all three of them in one, you are still doing your part in helping to keep the music part of the norm of the social climate of our society. Either way, you are still doing it. And in a lot of instances, the very things that the music is talking about, glorifying, promoting, and celebrating, a lot of times most people don't want that. Most people don't want the violence. Most people don't want the drugs. Most people don't want the pimping. Most people are not in agreement with this stuff. But the music, throwing rocks and hide his hand, will still get you to co-sign the very thing that you are against. It will still get you to co-sign, celebrate, promote, glorify, say it's no big deal, say it's okay. All those things that you will see on the 6 o'clock news that you will shake your head to and say, now they know they need to cut that out, they need to stop that, somebody needs to do something about this. It will still get you to co-sign it in some way, shape, or fashion. Whether you can be a college graduate, far removed from it, your kids far removed from it, if you still play it, if you still say there's nothing wrong with it, you are still doing your part in helping it to be the norm in the social climate of our society still. And what about those? Because I know that people, they really care about the people who are in the trenches, who are more conducive to doing the things that the music talk about. What about them, right? Okay, even if you are far removed from it, even if you're not like way far removed from it, but you're somebody who not interested in that street lifestyle or that negative, destructive lifestyle in whichever way the music is promoting and glorifying. Let's say you're not a part of it. I mean, don't you care about the well-being about the people who are? They got some people who living a life that's more conducive to them going along with what the music say. Some people's self-esteem, and I know you would agree, some people's self-esteem is wrapped up in the music. The music becomes some of their parent, replacing their parent, have more influence over what their parent would tell them. What about them? See, even if you're not doing it, co-signing it and promoting it, or co-signing or promoting the activity, when that person do it who listens to the music, you still keeping it going. Ain't no as long as you co-sign it in any way, shape, or form, like I said earlier, ain't no getting around it. I mean, you are doing your part in some way, shape, or fashion to keep it normalized, to keep it part of the social climate in our society. And there's a lot of times where these things can be talked about in a more productive, constructive way. I like to use Tupac, Brenda Got a Baby, for example. He talked about drugs, talked about pimping, somebody got killed, but he talked about it in a way that made you think twice about it. It made you not want to do it. Now, I'm not using Tupac as this perfect example because he made his negative, destructive music as well. But that song, I'm using that song as an example of a way that, and it was a hit song, a classic song and everything. So it could be done in a productive, constructive way. Now, just because people may have a love affair with it, a lot of times you just grew up on it anyway, before you even had the capacity to even think twice about it, to really take a step back and analyze the music. It was already a part of you. It was already associated with a good time. It was already a cultural thing, and once it already got so instilled in you in those different ways, it may be hard to let go. But the fact of the matter is, you still have to call it for what it is. You still can't dress it up and try to say, well, ain't nothing wrong with it. Well, it's no big. I mean, it is a big deal, because I think we would have to agree about the influence that it has, about the ability for it to set trends and make certain things cool and acceptable. But it can do that in a good way, or it can do that in a bad way. Now, we can't just say, oh, it can do it in a good way, but when it comes to the negative and destructive way, oh, it's not doing it. No, it's doing it because it has influence. It has that power to make somebody feel a certain way, to make things cool and acceptable, good or bad. And the fact of the matter is, if it's negative and destructive, it got to be called out. It can no longer be allowed to throw rocks and hide its hands no more. You see some of the effects that it's having on people, that it's having on communities, that it's having on society as a whole. I ain't just talking about the hood, I'm talking about in general. Because, like I said, you can be far removed, your son, your daughter, if they listening to it, they embracing it, they getting the okay, it's taking to them and shaping them in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Some kind of way. They don't have to literally be out there doing it. And they're going to still play it and co-sign it, so they're still going to be trained to do their part in keeping it as a social norm in our society. Now, before I end the video, I want to give what I feel is a very good example of music throwing rocks and hiding its hands. I remember this event when I was a teenager. They used to have this event called Teen Summit. They would bring a lot of teenagers to this big arena, and they would bring out speakers to talk to them about a lot of positive stuff. Staying in school, staying away from crime, all good things. Now, definitely believe that the speakers meant what they were saying. The people who organized the event and brought the speakers there, I definitely believe they wanted what was best for the kids, and it was all about the positivity and everything. But see, here's the thing: the same people who brought the positive speakers in to talk to the kids, they also brought rappers to the stage right after the people talked those positive messages to the kids, but the rappers was glorifying, promoting, and celebrating negativity and destruction. That's a great example. How could the same people be responsible at the same exact event, be responsible for all this positivity and all this negativity all in one event, and the same people are in charge of the same of the event? That's a perfect example of music throwing rocks and hiding its hands, being looked at as just entertainment. It ain't no big deal. Music got to push its negative message, got to have its influence in that positive environment. It got its foot in the door because it's just entertainment to some people. This is not a video to judge nobody. I don't dislike nobody who make negative music. I don't know them personally. I don't have no, if somebody listen to it, this is not personal. Don't take it personal, whether you're a person who like the music or whether you're somebody who make the music. I'm just here to say, let's just call it like it is, and let's start identifying that it is playing its part in certain things taking place, and not letting it hide its hands, throw rocks and hide its hands no more. That's all I'm saying. No matter how much somebody love it, no matter what it done for somebody, that's one more thing. Because people say that, well, you know, people make this music and they're able to get out of poverty-stricken situations. They're able to take care of their families. They're able to put their kids in better schools. But the thing is this: you can't do that by any means necessary. Okay, you get to, just because you get to make money off it, don't mean you get to keep pumping poison to millions of listeners. That's just like it's just like a drug dealer, right? Drug dealer might hand out turkeys, might do things in the community, but he's still pumping poison into that same community. I mean, you know, it don't matter if you get to make money, you get to employ some people, but it's at the expense of all these minds being influenced, all these negative, destructive trends being set and reinforced. No, it can't go like that. That still don't make it legitimate.